What's good, y'all? Welcome to a very special video. As you can tell from the thumbnail, this vid covers the making of my first magic card entitled Rest in Peace. I want to go over my ideation process and how I went from a description to the final painting. If you're excited about the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Alright, let's get to it. Whenever creating any kind of finished work, it usually starts with a concept, description, or brief. For this painting, I had to show a mummy being carried on a slab by other mummies. The center mummy was supposed to be the focus. With the description in front of me, I start working on the thumbnails. So here are the thumbnails. I tend to make them fairly small, usually no more than 2 inches across. The purpose of the thumbnails is to establish general shapes and value, pretty much void of any kind of detail. They a lot of times end up being more like scribbles. I personally like to keep the values very simple, usually white, black, and gray. The thumbnail also needs to read clearly, especially in card art, because your image is going to be shrunk down to the exact size of the thumbnail, 2 inches wide. Typically, I make thumbnails until I have 3 that I like. This could range anywhere from a few, like 3, or as many as 50. It just depends on the project and really how easy it is for me to actually find images that I would like to produce. I'll then take the 3 that I like, and then I'll refine the thumbnails to sketches and submit them to the art director. Now, when I say pick 3 thumbnails that I like, I mean that each one is something that I would like to turn into a painting. There's nothing worse than submitting 3 sketches and the art director picks the one you don't want to do, which happened quite a lot earlier in my career. So a little bit of advice to people just starting out: make sure you make sketches that you want to see painted, so no matter which one the art director chooses, you'll be excited to work on it. After a few days, I'll then get feedback on what to change, so I make the necessary changes and resubmit them until they get approved, though sometimes a sketch is approved right off the bat and no changes are needed. Anyway, once approved, I'll gather reference and start the preliminary drawing. Now, the drawing will be different depending on the time I have or I feel I have to work on the piece. In this particular case, I wanted to spend as much time as possible with the painting, so I decided to make the drawing digitally. I'll then print it out, transfer it, and seal it. If you want to see how I transfer a drawing, check out the video at the top. With all the groundwork laid, it's time to start the painting. This, just like most of my paintings, follow the same procedure: underpainting, first color layer, second color layer, and I finish it up with glazing and detail. The painting is 15 by 21 oil on canvas, unstretched canvas to be specific. And the palette I used for this was the Zorn palette, consisting of flake white hue, yellow ochre, cadmium red medium, and ivory black. I did, however, include ultramarine blue for the main mummy to help him stand out. question I was asked quite a bit after the painting was released was, why is the mummy's foot missing? Was it part of the brief? Well, the missing foot was actually referenced in the style guide that all artists receive when making work in a particular world. And so I thought it would be cool to implement. It would also add to the storytelling of the mummy to see how he might have passed away, and it adds some asymmetry to the composition. And what I mean by asymmetry is that, well, the composition in and of itself is actually pretty symmetrical by all accounts. There's the rectangle of the painting itself, and then there's the rectangle granite slab that the mummy is resting on. Then you have 4 mummies around the slab, which makes it all pretty much a balanced piece. So what I wanted to do was add a little bit of asymmetry, meaning something that's off kilter. So the missing foot of the mummy is one, and then on the right side you see the 2 pillars there of different design, which also help with that asymmetry of the piece. towards the end of the painting, I decided to repaint the bottom right mummy carrying the slab. His proportions were off and my eye kept going back to it. It was bothering me. Like I said, I was near the end of the painting, and so going back to repaint a figure is never something you want to do. I knew I couldn't let it slide though, considering especially that it was my first magic card and I wanted to make a really good impression. So I spent about another 4 or 5 hours repainting him. Ultimately, I'm glad I did. The end result is much better as far as proportion and even in the lighting aspect as well. And the reception of the painting has been very positive in general. So yeah, very glad I took the time to repaint the figure. Alright guys, we're getting close to the end now. I appreciate you all for watching. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like on the video and leave a comment below if you have any questions. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.